Hi, folks. We are GrownAGeeks, and tonight this is going to be an episode of Random Geek Chat. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Daredevil, and we'll just let the conversation go from there. Join us for Random Geek Chat. And we're back. So tonight is Random Geek Chat. A lot of different things that we could talk about. We've just had a great time sitting here with some conversation. Decided we should record some of this and let you hear it. Joining me tonight, we have born again Marvel fan RG Cashmere. It's all a little foggy, Miss Teresa. Insert cool nickname, Miss Brandy. And joining me as always, Jeffrey JPNT 17. I am frenemies with benefits, Elder Geek Sam, and let's talk a little Daredevil. So we're looking at Daredevil, Born Again. This is there was a 2-episode premiere. We're only going to discuss episode 1 for now, and we'll probably do like a mid-season and then a season ender. So we'll do like some big shows and cover all of the goodness that came with it. But this episode 1, this was Daredevil in all his glory. So what was the general consensus? Because it looks like the internet is all abuzz with Daredevil. So we've been talking Daredevil for 20 minutes. So if nobody has anything now, I get it. It's cool. But yeah, this has been a hell of a show.
That's funny.
Matt is the most reluctant ass whooper. Like he just, cause he know once he start whooping ass, it's gonna be bad. So and
that's
I think,
which is on or off.
And I think I think people who were really concerned about, oh, Disney's gonna like castrate the show and it's not gonna be it's like, nah, man. Episode 1 cold before we even get to the new credits. Motherfuckers going to work, and I think that's the thing that we, as maybe as sadistic as it sound, have all come to know and love about this iteration of Daredevil is that he gets busy. And I think that's the core of the character. And I think, Marvel's ability now to show different characters who work at different levels and do different things but all exist in the same universe is good. I mean, you got your family-friendly Captain America that came out last week, but it's like, don't let the kids watch this because this is not for them. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that as a comic fan, showing depth, showing range, and just showing just different levels that even this medium can be taken seriously. It can be as brutal as a Game of Thrones if it wants to be, if the character calls for it, if the situation calls for it. So yeah, I think just knowing that, I'm very, very excited for how the rest of the season is going to play out, because I personally have not had a huge issue with a lot of the stories that Disney has tried to tell, but I think because we've already seen this character like really, really like lay hands and go to work on people, it's going to be weird. Like, if I don't see like arms get broken and people like actually get killed on the show, because that's what you've established as your street level energy. So, yeah, I'm excited.
And you said family friendly Captain America, but Sam did say shit a lot.
I was more talking about Steve, but yeah, you're right.
For me, I think I have to talk about the care that was taken in the making of this. The cinematography was amazing. From the opening, the shots, the way they frame things, the way they use the camera to show Matt's abilities, and like how it went like letterbox when he was listening and things, that just the little details, the music in the background, the lighting, the red at the end, the half shadow of the red. I was like, that is just an amazingly, they put care into creating this, and just really, really appreciate it. You could tell that whoever was doing this took it seriously, and really wanted to capture the old feeling while also bringing it forward into Marvel. I just really really love that. And then Vincent D'Onofrio, I I fangirl out. Y'all know every time that man comes up, I fangirl out. But his presence is just like no, but I just nobody else could sit in that seat. That diner scene, he don't never have to say much to say all the things he wants to say. We will see that going
all
forward. Not
all
to
his little ticks and nuances add so much
you can
depth to
see
that
and you can
character.
feel it. You can feel it.
Yeah.
There's a scene, and I don't know, but there's just that when people are talking to him and he don't like what the hell you saying, but he ain't gonna tell you, but you can just see
Yeah,
it.
you get
Like you can
little head nod.
see it coming over him, and he's just like, all right, calm
It's like I
with his
should
little
smack you,
twitch.
but
Right.
I'm trying
Facts.
to be
Like
the mayor.
this
Trying
very
to
contained,
do
but a
better and
very placid. Like he's
not
just he's so
break
good.
you in
And of
half.
course,
So
Charlie Cox. I mean, Charlie Cox is Charlie Cox. He's great. He's great in the role. I love him as
yeah.
Daredevil. I love him as Matt Murdock. I think he is great. But D'Onofrio, he's just so versatile. Like he's just an amazing actor. I love to watch him work. So yeah.
I'm very happy that they did not sterilize it as much as I thought that they were going to.
Yeah.
I think the initial fight, the opening scene fight, it was good. I liked it. Like it was good. I felt like it happened a little too foggy. Like it wasn't too clear.
No
But
pun
I
What do you
get
mean too foggy?
Sorry, my bad. Oh, ooh, too
My
soon? Is
chest.
it too soon? Is
My
it too soon?
chest.
I'm sorry, is it too soon? My bad.
What do you mean too foggy? It's not foggy enough.
Ooh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Way too soon. Okay, see what I'm saying? That we shouldn't be laughing at that, and we are. The fight scene was good. Just there were points of it that the way it was edited, it wasn't as impactful as I had hoped it was going to be. But it was still a good fight. The choreography of the fight was still good. I still enjoyed all the movements. I got the point. I got to see that he's still going to be, a hands-on type hero. So I did enjoy that. The big thing that I really enjoyed about it is I think they are really taking some time to delve into sort of the day-to-day life of like a different conflict. They found a way to have us focus on a different conflict between Daredevil and Kingpin. Because now it is not, you can't keep making it about him fighting the henchman and him fighting the henchman and him fighting the henchman. We know who the enemy is. We know who the bad guy is. So now we get to see them kind of navigate around, well, the issue is that Kingpin can legitimately make your life harder as Daredevil. So I'm really interested in how he overcomes that and how he navigates through that. So they did a real good job with that. I gotta be honest, I really didn't watch a whole lot of the Netflix season. I don't have that attachment to Foggy and Karen like everybody else does.
No.
So
you went with us when we were shooting in the gym.
I was not. I was not. And so while I like them as characters from what I remember from the seasons that I did watch, I'm fine with how they got them out. Like, how they removed them out the picture. And I feel like given the complexity of what can potentially happen, right? Because now you're introducing something with this new vigilante and there's a whole new power set that you're dealing with. So, you have to kind of address that. You can't keep throwing out Amulet in your conversations and not let that pay off eventually. So I do want to see where they go with that. But I got to give them credit. I mean, I want to know. I'm very interested. They did a very good job at keeping the plot, or at least the direction of the story. They have a very good hook. So I am definitely. I do want to see where it's going to go forward. What is he going to do now that this dude is mayor? This dude can be like, yo, if they catch you out here in your suit, you getting the cuffs on you. You know what I'm saying? Then the way they kind of brought him back into the game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only saying it that way because I'm not trying to spoil it, but the way they brought him back into the game, like he said, he's a reluctant ass whooper, and now y'all made him whoop some ass.
Yeah.
And what do you like?
Plus Vanessa,
This is
Pen.
Right. Where are they going to go with that?
Here.
They have a lot of very good directions that they can take this, and so far the writing has shown that they're equipped and they're able to go in those directions and do it in a good job the entire season. So,
clearly they have some understanding of the characters. Teresa, you just finished the original Netflix series, and now you're coming over into Daredevil Born Again. What are your thoughts, and how did the two series tie together?
Well, first of all, I would like to say, in watching, me and Jeff and our Marvel stuff, and Jeff mentioned the more family friendly, like Captain America. The Netflix, and this is another reason I'm thinking that I did not watch any of the Netflix series like I thought I did, because I binged it over the last week, and I would have it on while I was working. So, and it's different. It's different from a lot of the Marvel movies. It had me clutching imaginary pearls.
Yeah.
Many times with the violence. And, it had me thinking that I'm getting a little soft in my old age because, some of that was really a lot. And then I hear reports that, people are thinking that, like you said, Disney was going to it wasn't going to be good because Disney is going to soften it or whatever. But I'm hearing reports that Disney says they're not going to soften it. That it's going to be even more violent and even bloodier than the Netflix series. And I'm like, well, y'all might just have to tell me about this because
I agree with that.
I don't know if I could take it. I'm going to try, but so far,
which makes me be like, what are they going to do with the Punisher?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's got interesting storylines, so I'm trying to hang in there. And unlike Mr. Kashmir over there, I was very emotionally invested in the Foggy and Karen storyline. So
hard on your sleeve. It's in your knee.
I mean, before the credits, even before the little intro scene, I was like, these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, Foggy been there since day one.
No, they didn't. They went to great lengths. Oh no, we got
the name on the door. I was like, oh, look, it's Murdoch and Paige.
And before the credits run, I was like, y'all didn't have to do that to us. But anyway, they did it. Once again, I don't deal well with change. So I got to get used to this little therapist lady and the little ex-DA lady. I liked Foggy and Karen, but yeah, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna hang in there because me and Marvel, and plus if they drop other characters in there, I have to see it and I have to be able to tie this to other Marvel stuff. But I don't know. It's kind of a shaky start for me because we lost my characters, and plus it's really violent and bloody and just a lot of things that I don't really go in for, but it's Marvel, so I'm gonna watch
you don't typically go for them. Yeah.
I think go ahead, my bad.
No, you're fine. As I got into this, watching this new season, I of course was fearful like everyone else, just thinking that if it's going to be Disney, then it's going to be Disney-fied, so to speak, and it would be a little bit lighter. I had heard some of the reports that they weren't going to change it. And I was like, well, if they come back and they do the same that they did on Netflix, we'll see. They have, and I have seen some other stuff, like they let Deadpool and Wolverine come and didn't touch anything with that. They have Hulu and some of the stuff that's on Hulu. So, Disney trying to make sure they make all the money. And Daredevil was one of those things that was such a beloved property over at Netflix that if they didn't come with at least that same energy, I feel like we would have just like there would have been a riot. And
it would have crashed.
they don't need those kind of problems. You know what I'm saying? Like Marvel, the Marvel side of things has been, they want to keep Marvel television open, I'm sure. And if they don't get a good turnout on Daredevil because they made it lighter, I don't know that they're gonna have the necessary episodes available to fix it before the season's up. So you just got to let it do what it does and let it be what it's been. Having gone through all of the seasons previously and the Defenders and everything that had Daredevil, Charlie Cox's character, I'm a little attached to Foggy because he's been there since the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been there since the beginning. So for them to go about dealing with Foggy the way they did just felt a little disrespectful in my opinion. But it was a good way to put a lot of heart into the show very quickly. And what I'm interested in seeing, because this really seems to be what the show is, it's Daredevil versus Matt. And as we watch through these first two episodes, we see Matt is trying to fight Daredevil, and Daredevil is trying to fight against Matt. And it's that internal conflict, that turmoil that he has to overcome. And you got the little Matt right here in the white suit and Daredevil over here in the red suit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, who's he listening to? Which wolf is feeding him today? And
lighting. You have the red half of Matt and then the shadow of Matt.
Yeah. Absolutely. And just like even some of the conversations, like everything, you hear everybody talking about the vigilantes. Some people in the city are like, where's Daredevil? We need Daredevil. Like he's our hero. He's our guy. Like he's take care of the city. He keeps things safe. And then you have a conversation. He's like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. And as we see, there's a few more people who are kind of on the inner circle now. And we got to replace those people because we don't have Night Nurse anymore. And, you know what I'm saying? The Defenders aren't around right now. So we got to have a man in the chair, so to speak. And that's the introduction to this character, Cherry. And like to see how this happened a year ago and where we are now, it's a journey that I'm looking forward to going on with Matt. In fairness, he actually pushed my man off the roof. So he went the Daredevil route.
Oh, yeah.
And when he like glitched and like woke up, and I was like, he's not dead. What? And then I guess that's when he's like, you know what? I crossed the line. I tried to kill him and he didn't die. So that was my second chance. That was my chance to do the right thing. And that's where he decided to, hang up his horns essentially and go strictly by the book and take the legal standpoint. He got like 11 consecutive life sentences. So Bullseye might, he might be away for a little bit. I would like to see Dex come back at some point later in the episode. I'm sure he will end up out because why else would there be a hit on Foggy? There's still a mystery to uncover. And so I just, as we go through and we get to see that struggle between Matt Murdock, internal conflict he has with being Daredevil and not being Daredevil, because he still has the abilities, he still has the powers, he still has the hands. And the right events can happen that could trigger that, and he may respond in kind. So as we see, I can't wait to see how that conflict plays out. And when he has that conundrum he has to deal with. So looking forward to a lot more of that. Jeff, you had a comment you wanted to make earlier.
Well, I was going to say, like, I think that even with what you're saying about Matt versus Daredevil, it's like we see the same thing with Wilson versus Kingpin. And so that's why those characters are like intertwined, because they're both fighting against their more primal natures, and their primal natures actually have like characters attached to them. Yeah. But they're trying to go the like quote unquote straight route, but you're like only being like half of yourself, if that. And so I think that that's why even hearing them talk to each other is interesting, because they see, as much as like even the Matt Murdock wouldn't want to like admit it, like what's his name? Wilson Fisk. I wanted to call him Victor for some reason. Wilson Fisk sees the similarities in himself and in Daredevil, in that they're fighting the same internal struggle. And he, I think, I think this is fascinating to me, because in the past, I think he's been trying to kind of balance and live in both worlds. And that's how he lost his family. That's how he lost Vanessa. And so now he's trying to take a page almost out of Matt Murdock's book, where it's like, well, you got to just go all the way straight if you really want to like achieve your goal. Like, he wants to run the city, and now he does. But is he able to run the city in a way that satisfies him, or does he have to deny himself in order to run the city? Matt Murdock wants to dispense justice, but when you try to go straight, are you dispensing justice in a way where you have to deny yourself because you know that there are loopholes in the law? Or are you actually able to, quote unquote, go straight and live with the fact that you're not going to be able to deliver all of the justice that you would be if you went this other route? So I find that parallel between them, and I mean, that's been the parallel between them, I think, throughout the entire series. But even just having the like direct parallel of both of them trying to go straight, and both of them turning their backs on their like quote unquote comic book characters for the sake of like trying to move forward and be better people, is interesting, because I mean, we know it's gonna happen. You got another suit somewhere. We seen Wilson's suit already, the white one. So we know what's going to happen. But at this point, it's like, what's going to trigger that descent back into themselves? And so for me, that's what's going to be the most fascinating thing. The biggest thing that I have really liked about this round of the storytelling, though, is something that I feel gets very overlooked in Marvel, which I mean we dealt with in Age of Ultron, is the lack of attention in regard to like civilians and like hearing what they think about is going on. And so we see, there's the blog,
the BB report.
Yeah, the BB report, where we're getting the street report directly from people on the street and hearing like how they're responding to Daredevil being around, how they're responding to him not being around for a year, how they're responding to Wilson Fisk running for office. And it's pretty mixed reviews. It's pretty nuanced takes from like regular everyday people who are affected by these things. And I do think that in a way that is something that when you're having these gigantic cosmic events, it's like you're trying to save the earth, but it's like, why? What are you trying to save on this earth? And it's the people. And I think for the street level heroes, I hope that as they develop more things, hopefully around these different characters, we can get back into that. I think Luke Cage did a really good job of like doing that and incorporating the fact that like he was the hero of Harlem. He was for the people of Harlem. Jessica Jones was really just like, I had a terrible, like unthinkable experience, and I'm trying to stop him from doing that to other people. But even though she was a private investigator, it never really felt like you're helping all these people. It's like you are a mess. And it's just like Danny Rand's just trying to like get his life back after being gone. You know what I mean? So really that street level element of, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, heroes for hire. Like these are the people who like are supposed to be touching the everyday people that Iron Man and Captain America and the Hulk are not like gonna come down to, because they're fighting larger threats, they're fighting existential threats, they're fighting political threats, which is what we need. But also, like, if you're gonna tell me Daredevil is a street level hero, I need to hear what people on the street have to say about what's going on. So
you need word.
I think that's I think that has been a great inclusion in the show in terms of like helping set the tone and the mood for the city. as a whole.
Right.
As a character, as another character in the show. Like it's you don't have to give exposition and have somebody say, "Oh, the people in the
New
city
York are feeling down about blah, 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 blah." It's like,
right? They made it a character through, that show. Yeah, that's good catch. Yeah.
I really appreciate the fact that this show is not a show for people who have not watched this show. Yeah. If you have not watched Daredevil, they're not going to be explaining shit to you. They're coming into this episode as if everybody is up to speed and we're moving forward. I like that, and then I kind of don't, just because I think there are people like Teresa who may not want to go back and watch all 3 seasons of the original show. But also, I guess it wouldn't necessarily be for them. But if they're Marvel fans, they may not have, you know what I'm saying? They may not know anything about. I don't know. I don't know how.
I think it's do we need another balance?
Yeah, I think they did a good job
origin
of addressing
story. No,
both.
you kind of. Origin. But I don't know how I would feel walking into the show if this was the very first episode of Daredevil I ever saw.
Gotcha. I think it was like I think it was interesting because even though like for Teresa who's just watched the old Daredevil, them killing Foggy off before the opening credits is like very like emotional. For me, I haven't seen it really in some years. I was like, oh damn! I wasn't expecting him to die, but I wasn't like heart wrenched over it. And like with Karen, kind of fading to the background. I feel like it was kind of like, here's Bullseye and Daredevil fighting. If it's your first episode, you don't know what they're fighting about, you can go back and watch the other one. Here's Foggy getting shot. If you don't know why this is so emotional for Matt that makes him throw a motherfucker off a building, you can go back and watch the old one. But if you don't care, you know enough to know his friend died, and he don't want to be the character no more, and we're moving forward. And you decide for yourself if you want to go back and watch or not. And I think that's a very tricky thing to do because I was kind of expecting a previously on Daredevil type thing.
I truly was. I truly was.
I think but the problem is if you try to do a previously on
8 years, like how long? It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been a minute. Yeah. But realistically, I think if you tried to do a previously on, you would have to incorporate parts from
Defenders.
The Defenders. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of previous.
You have all of
Punisher.
Yeah, I was about to say you have all of Daredevil, some of Defenders, some of Punisher,
Spider-Man.
Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of people would have gotten that little bit. Echo. Well, and that
She-Hulk.
That was cool. Right. All of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you try to do it previously, honestly, you end up having to use an outside source for a recap. But no, I think it would have been very difficult to try to do any kind of recap prior to the show, like a 2-minute trailer of everything you needed to know or the key points. I think they did a good enough job in the flashback-esque telling of this first episode. Brandon, you'd put out your review list. I love your review list whenever you do them. And
I have to split it up because there was just a lot that first episode. So I did 2.
There was. I did not see, and one of the first critiques that I heard about the show, and of course I took it with a grain of salt. Okay, it's whatever. I wonder if I would have noticed it if they hadn't said anything. But they were talking about the CGI in the opening sequence and whatnot. And I just don't feel that I'm so spoiled to be put off of a good show because they need a character to do stuff that a person physically can't do, even as a stunt team. Let's move on. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Are you talking about the rooftop runs and stuff? I personally was like, I thought it was very stylized. Like it was intentional. This is a comic book movie. Yeah. We're going to be having this character. They're defying the laws of their. It's a
absolutely.
Comic book. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
These are superhuman feats.
And this is
as
still
much as it's
the world
rooted in
that
reality.
Spider-Man and Iron Man and Hulk.
Right.
Not like the original where we didn't really know how these motherfuckers crossed over. Like no, we know I mean, this motherfucker was a Spider-Man lawyer, so when he swing and land like that, he probably been, well, I can't say he been watching Spider-Man because he ain't been watching nothing, but he echolocated Spider-Man.
He worked with Spider-Man.
Yeah. But I mean, and that's my point. I mean, like I said, one of the first critiques I saw about Daredevil was somebody saying the CGI is horrible, and I'm thinking to myself, like,
you looking for something to be mad about?
Yeah, because it wasn't horrible. It definitely wasn't horrible.
It was.
I like the way Brandon said it's stylized. It was.
And see, that's what I'm saying. And I will say, honestly, I wonder even if, like, would it have been something that I know, like, I would have been able to see it, but would I have even cared if I didn't hear the critique about it first?
If you go into a Marvel movie not expecting to see CGI, that's like going to a strip club and not expecting to see dollar bills. Like, you in the wrong place, my brother. You are in the wrong place.
What's all this money going around?
Breasts.
Singles.
No one told me.
It's like, that's where you went with it? Going to a strip club not expecting to see dollar bills?
No.
I would have thought I went some other place with that, but yeah, I don't.
But yeah, if that's what you were looking for and that's what you found, and you know,
look, if you see dollar bills, you're gonna see all the other stuff.
It's like going to a Tarantino movie and not hearing the N word. We know it's coming.
Exactly. And honestly, I don't even think the critique was on the fact that there was CGI. But I think they were being, again,
people are digging because you know how it is, right?
No,
these fandoms are the worst. I swear, the worst. I don't see how they call themselves fandoms because all they do is live to be angry and hate on everything. I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody talking about the diversity shown in the goddamn show. I'm surprised nobody's talking about, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, it could have been harder. His head was supposed to explode when he hit the cement, and that just doesn't even make sense. Like, or he punched left and everybody knows he's a right. You know, it's just like, they will find any, like.
I mean, that's facts though. That is exactly how it goes, and that's why I said, like, as I was watching it, of course, when we got to the little rooftop run and he was going halfway, and I do really like the way they focus in on the other senses and stuff like that. So like you said, the way the screen alters when he's listening and being able to see do the action shot going around the building and flowing through, and when something comes by and like, I imagine that's got to sound real cool with the surround sound. I'm gonna have to watch that on the big TV just so I can see if it does the surround sound and we hear. Because I wonder, like, when Bullseye threw that paper
traffic
clip,
and
people
like walking by,
threw that paper clip and it hit the fly, like, would it made a sound over here and ended up over there, and like, I could see it being like that. What about that up the stairs hallway 20-minute single shot fight scene? That was so intense.
I was like, somebody, God dang.
I'm telling you, in that moment, as he's going up the stairs and the boy is just firing at him, and then you can hear Foggy's heartbeat and Karen's and the people in the street. I was like, oh, I'm stressed. Oh.
There's a lot going on right now.
There was so much going on.
It was intense, and I live for that. Like, that's what I live for in the show. So I'm glad that I got that in the first episode.
I'm very impressed with that body armor. I don't think I gave the body armor enough credit, but
it's not even vibranium.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the guy that makes these and whatnot. And of course, like, I was kind of hoping that even when we got around to She-Hulk, we had the other guy who was making the costumes and whatnot. When they first made mention about making the costume, I thought they were going to use a guy from Daredevil, but that was technically Netflix, so it's a whole thing. This go round, I'm wondering if we're going to see different suits, whatnot. We know that he's got so with the TV show, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, spoiler alert, Daredevil has a cameo in that show, and he's got a particular costume there. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, spoiler, Daredevil was in that show, and he had the yellow and the red. Then, of course, when he was in Echo, he was back in his red costume, and that looks to be the one, of course, that would be this costume. So those would have been the same. As he put this costume away, it's probably got a ton of holes. I don't know if he would have gone through the trouble to get it repaired, especially since he hadn't had the horn for a while. Yeah. It just makes me wonder, like, are we going to see a new costume? We got a whole season. Look forward to it. I would think,
man, as artistic as we want to be, we still got hot toys and action figures to sell, brother. We're going to see a new costume. All right. It might be the last
same
episode
one in the Walmart,
but it's going to be a new costume just in time for Halloween.
Make that bread.
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't even think about that.
Just take out the Funko page.
In his journey to finding himself.
There you go.
That's right. The Funko page will spoil it.
I think I saw a picture of like him having like a closet that had like multiple helmets.
Yeah, there were like 4 helmets in it.
So
and I didn't say anything because I was trying to remember where I saw that, or if I didn't make it up. So I didn't make it up because you saw it too. So,
yes, I did see that.
Maybe it was in the preview.
I wasn't sure where I saw it, but yeah, it was.
Yes, I saw it in the Marvel like first look. I think when I was watching the Marvel first look thing that was on Disney Plus, I think I saw it in there.
I don't know where I saw it, but yeah.
You know what? It's funny because now I kind of want to go and look to see if there is anything on the Funko Pop, because Thunderbolts.
Right.
I've seen the Thunderbolts pop, and
it just came out.
I will say, be careful. Don't look at those. that'll definitely throw something away for you. But that was actually what made me think of it. And I was wondering, like, we're definitely going to see, like Jeff said, we're going to see a new costume for sure. Given that he's already had the red, it's been kind of messed up, and he hasn't been in it for so long. Once Daredevil makes his appearance again, once he's back, he's got to have a whole John Wick moment. You know what I'm saying? They keep asking me if I'm back, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm curious what this new costume will look like. Will it be before Punisher cameos, after Punisher cameos? Like I said, it's that internal turmoil, that conflict that, as Jeff pointed out, both Fisk and Murdoch are dealing with. And
you also, to your point, Jeff, the way you said about the diner scene, it wasn't just a scene between Fisk and Murdoch. It was a scene between Fisk and Murdoch, and then Kingpin and Daredevil. Yeah. So there was 4 different conversations happening at that table, which is like at the end when he stood up and it was like no words, but all the words.
And then like Fisk did that little twitch, like I should have fucking. Ooh, I
crossed his table. Yeah, absolutely. That'll be like you can see him twitching the whole time. Like whenever his hand be like,
it's also like
over there stimming,
this like, blind dude just talking to me crazy.
like he don't know I know, and I know he know I know because I know.
But it's also like if I slap this blind dude glasses off, I'm not gonna be the mayor. Like it's just not gonna go down.
And did you notice in the scene his knuckles was bloody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What the hell you been doing? Because they didn't even address that.
Crashing out
right over it.
I said, somebody's been up to mischief.
Doing the Kendrick Lamar scream too.
Somebody got into shenanigans, and we're not talking about that.
Well, see, I'm wondering, in all seriousness, if the way because there's that cut. He's like standing right out front. He comes out, they talk. He's like, maybe we can talk somewhere, and then they cut. Next time we see him, they're both in the diner already sitting down. So did he follow him? Did they walk together? Because it feels like everybody else would have been following as well. So like, did they know where to meet? How did that? I'm just on the way there. He was feeling some kind of way, punched the wall a couple times to get himself right. And then he went in to talk. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking he wouldn't have had bloody knuckles when he was addressing the crowd. So it had to happen between where he just was and when he sat down at the table.
Yes.
And it was literally one of those things, like when he walked out, he couldn't react and respond the way he wanted to. He had to he was in a public place with witnesses, so he had to just like stay calm. And yes, we can
beat a nigga ass in the limo.
I would like that very much. You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to hold it in. And then when they go and they sit down, he's like, it's not entirely unpleasant to see you. You know, it's like the way he talked to everybody, right? The way he talked to everybody except the person. He'd be over here and over there, looking down here, looking up there, but talking right to you.
Random. How old do you think this desk is? Like what?
Right. What the fuck is you talking about?
I don't know, man. You want
my
a new
father's
desk?
favorite. The father you beat to death with a hammer? Like what we having this
right. My father didn't respect many men.
It still would have been the person he respected. That was like when he was like, this desk, Vanessa would know just by looking at it. Like, well, I'm not Vanessa, bitch. Okay. How about that? Right. And if you don't get your criminal wife.
He's so observant. It's like everything he says, that desk is going to come back. Something about that desk is going to come back. Whether he has to, if he gets a new desk or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
somebody going to get body slammed through it.
It's because he's so observant
Daniel, hopefully.
without being observant. And it's so interesting because he talked about the girl and he's like, she's used to people underestimating her. But I'm like, I feel like people constantly underestimate him and I don't know why. Like at this stage in the game, I feel like more people would be talking to him like that. Well, one of the characters talked to him in episode 2.
He was talking big shit.
Facts. But I feel like more people would be black, right? Because we know who this dude is, but at the same time, I don't know. It's like they don't think that he's a menace. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't think he was a menace till that prison scene. And then I was like, my whole life changed. And I'm so sorry because I did not know. But you know what I mean? Like, I think maybe because, and he is smaller now, but I think maybe because people just assume like he's slow or maybe not so bright. I don't know.
Yeah, some people just gotta see it. Some
people
gotta see you put the pause on people to understand it. Because it'd be a lot of people that be walking around that's just like living off the hype of, oh, you just big, but like I'm in jail. So do you think and it's like, okay, man, like, okay,
you think I'm big and
like, let's go to work then.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think that the acting and the writing has been really good. I think that, if it continues on this trajectory, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to just do one episode per week.
A week. Like,
I mean, them 2 episodes felt like half of an episode when I watched them last night, and I think this is the thing I've been most excited about since X-Men '97, and yeah, like I'm. Like we ain't even gotten into like, and even the way they like show little small things that are going to become big things, but it's not done in a way where like it's like here's an Easter egg, here's another Easter egg. It's like these are things that are all like woven and intertwined into the story in a way that makes sense, so that when it pays off, it will be like a slow build. It will be a gradual build of tension, of excitement. So that way, when we reach the climax of this story, it's like earned and it's satisfying. And it's not just like, okay, this is the thing y'all have been trying to do the whole time. Like kind of what we talked about with Captain America and Red Hulk, spoiling that in the previews and spoiling that in the trailer kind of made that a situation where we were just waiting for it to happen versus like experiencing it. Yeah. And I think
because I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know. We don't know when Punisher gonna come in. We don't know what's gonna happen with his case that he's fighting. We don't know when Bullseye gonna show back up, if he gonna show up. We don't know when Fisk is gonna snap. We don't know if Vanessa is gonna come back to him or not. We don't know what BB's real motivation is. We don't know why Daniel is so excited to be up under Fisk and how that's going to play out. Like, there's a multitude of ways that all of these stories can play out, and they've introduced everything without necessarily like tipping their hand as to how things are gonna move forward. Only thing we know is eventually this motherfucker gonna get back in that suit and he gonna go to work and he gonna reluctantly whoop some ass and he gonna scream and roll credits.
Shout out to Michael Gandolfini in there looking like his daddy.
Oh yeah,
I was
he's
like,
doing
I
a
know
good
that's
job
him.
annoying me.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I
and
know
everything's
that's him.
happening
He was
organically.
just like his dad.
Like one thing that's cool is everything is happening organically. Like all of these situations, there's multiple little mini plot lines that are developing, and they're all happening organically. It's because we know these characters, and because the new characters that they introduce are still based in that universe, everything kind of develops organically. So it's like every situation they get into is believable. I'm all right. I don't have to do these leaps of logic in order to believe we got from here to here, So right, each character has their own motivation, and these situations are getting their motivation is getting them in these situations. We don't need spectacle on this. Like, it's a street level show, so we don't need spectacle. I don't need a giant fight. Basically all I really want to see is just keep it on that level where it's very claustrophobic. The fights are very claustrophobic. I want to see hands. Like, that's what they're known for. So the more of that they find a way, and it's gonna naturally work its way into the story. So I know I'm gonna get more. I'm looking forward to when it comes, and I want to see them whoop some more ass. I'm looking forward to them whooping some more ass, and who they're gonna introduce. I think we're doing good
for me, because March 20th is the new Assassin's Creed is coming out. I'll be unavailable.
I understand.
They gotta
understand.
They even need to be dropping. No, just
this is one of those times where I kind of miss that this isn't on Netflix, where I could have watched it all.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, I also am like, I'm not gonna lie, it's nice to have something to look forward to.
I was about to say I'm grateful, because that would have been I'd be like on episode 6 right now. Yeah, I'm
just really happy that they did. I think they did a good job. I think they've done a really, really. It makes me excited to see what's next, because I think they've done such a good job in porting this in and not losing the Marvelness of it, adding the Marvelness into this while keeping the character of this the same. And I appreciate that, because I want to see Daredevil interact with some of these people. I want to see Daredevil interact with Spider-Man. I want to see Daredevil interact. You know what I mean? So I'm very like, because we didn't have an opportunity to have them in that world, and it was very much like they were on their own over here, and it didn't have nothing to do with nothing else. So with everything that's coming, I'm really excited to kind of see how they work. What's going on, like how
the deep dive for those Easter eggs and find those connections. They would make a comment. I mean, unless you are from Asgard or you have a metal suit.
What is it, Jeffrey? What did I say?
Oh wait, no, you no volume.
You're muted.
No volume.
Oh, Kate Bishop, she can show up. She live in New York.
Yes, and then she'll hang out with him for a few days, and then she'll have better echolocation than he does. Hey. I was getting on you because I was like, I dislike that girl. I don't like that character. Like, the way people feel about Ray is the way that I feel about Kate Bishop.
No,
it's a deep, abiding hate.
All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this show. We had a great time talking about it. Lots of different things, mostly Daredevil, but we got some other stuff in there as well. We want to make sure that you like and subscribe. Follow us everywhere you find GrownAGeeks. Click that QR code right there with Miss Teresa. For Teresa, RG, Brandy, Jeffrey, I'm Elder Geek Sam, and we are out of here. Peace.